I found this in your truck. It's the paint used to deface the school. What do you think of that?
I think I would have picked a different word. I didn't do it.
Well, if you refuse to accept responsibility for your actions, you'll have to leave Haven High.
You know, in this crazy business, there's so many different ways you can get into the business. For me, I was a dancer. So I started dancing when I was 3, and then I blew out my knee when I was 12, but I still wanted to be on stage. So I did the school play. I did a play in my grade 12 year in Ottawa called The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, and I played Sandy, the betrayer. And all I remember is walking out onto the stage, saying my first line, and then the applause at the end. And I was hooked, way more than even with you know, the dancing I had done. So I told my parents, I'm not gonna go to law school, sorry, I'd like to go be an actor. So once they got over that, I went to university and I got my Bachelor of Fine Arts at York with a major in drama and theater. And I started acting right away. I got picked up right out of theater school and got my first job within weeks and haven't looked back. And it's been over 25 years. And all I've ever done is follow my passion.
Just respect what's been done. And don't do anything to invite the spirit back into your house.
Like what?
Well, one of the easiest ways for a spirit to invade a home is through seemingly innocent games. Despite what you think, they do have power.
What kind of games?
Palm readings, automatic writings, tarot cards, spirit in the glass.
I think probably one of the hardest thing as an actor is to get your first job. Like, how do you get your first job? You need an agent to get your first job, but you can't really get an agent until you get your first job. So it's one of the biggest catch-22s in the business, full of catch-22s. My first job, I started out in musical theater. I could sing and I could dance, even though my knee was a little wonky. So my first paying gig as an actor out of university, with stars in my eyes and a little bit of naivete guiding me along, was at Theatre Aquarius doing A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum. And I was part of the chorus. And I remember I got to drive to work every day in Hamilton, Ontario. I was living in Toronto and I'd have my rehearsals and I would cash my equity check at the end of the week. And I would still bartend because you had to pay rent and rent's expensive. And so my agent said, well, have you thought about TV work? You should do some TV work. And my first gig I booked was a recurring role on a show called Kung Fu, The Legend Continues with David Carradine. May he rest in peace. And it was based on the Kung Fu series from the 70s. Now he's much older and he has a son who's a cop. And I was a girlfriend and I'm a cop. And on my first day on set, I had to do a shower scene. And I'm in the apartment and he's there and we're together and you meet us and I'm in the shower and I pull him in and I was 22 years old, 23 years old, and I had Reeboks on my feet, 3 sizes too big because I use dry ice for the steam. And I remember going, what have I gotten myself into? Maybe I should have stayed in the theater.
Do you think Dad started the fire?
No.
Why do you think that?
Mr. Otto asked him for a few more days and he said no.
Oh, Maddie. Honey, your father has his issues. But at heart, he is an honest and a decent man.
But it was a great experience and more work came after that. And I was lucky enough to have a lot of mentors in my life. And one of the things they said to me, there's a woman named Fern Downey, who's actually president of ACTRA for Canada. She said to me, as an actor in Canada, you can't limit what you're going to do. If you want to live here in this great country, you can't limit yourself to just theater, just TV, just this. You need to do it all because we're actors, that's what we do. And she suggested I try voiceover, and that changed my life. So my first audition I booked, it was for Vaseline Intensive Care, lotion for dry, cracked skin. Not that creepy, but, and then cartoon work slowly came after that, and all of a sudden I found myself in my mid-20s employable on the stage, on the screen, doing commercials for either with my face or just my voice, and doing cartoons. And cartoons are wicked because it doesn't matter what you look like. And in an industry so big, especially as a woman, who's not in her 30s anymore, as a woman, you can be anything. It doesn't matter what you look like. So
I could be a little boy, or I could be a little girl, or I could talk like an old woman. It didn't matter.
Don't forget the nose cream for my sister, Gail. Of course. How could I forget your sister? I can't wait to meet her. Well, Blythe, I can't wait for you to meet her. Gail's an absolute hoot. Oh, she's always getting herself into the most interesting situations.
So the thing I love most about animation, though, is it doesn't matter what you look like. And that's really important, especially as a woman aging in this business, gracefully, but aging. So you can play anything. You can be a little boy, or a little girl, or an old woman, or...
You could talk and be a big person that sounds like she should be on Game of Thrones, you know.
It doesn't matter what you look like, it's what you can bring to it.
Gail's trapped inside the largest ever pet shop!
So when you get into this business, you always wonder what your big break's going to be. What's the thing that's going to make everybody know who you are? I mean, because face it, you know, we like to talk about ourselves as actors, and it's certainly, we're here for you to know who we are, no matter what any actor says. And about 7 years ago, I auditioned for a show called My Little Pony, which I used to watch all the time when I was a kid. About
Ponies and happy ponies and lovely ponies and rainbows and unicorns and...
all that girly fun stuff. But Hasbro decided to release a newer version called Friendship is Magic, where the creator at the time, Lauren Faust, was really interested in challenging the idea that pink is for girls and blue is for boys. And she really wanted to bring the idea that together we can be better and stronger. So I've been working on lots of TV things. I've done movies for Lifetime, Hallmark, almost every major network in Canada and the States. But I had a chance to audition for this cartoon show, and I booked the part of Princess Celestia. And about 2 years later, I was introduced to this phenomenon called bronies. And I guess if nobody knows what they are, they're kind of like, you know, Star Trek has Trekkies. My Little Pony has bronies, and they are some of the most rabid, faithful, fanatical, fantastic, caring people I have ever met. They're all around the world. With my show, I've had an opportunity to travel to fan conventions. I've met bronies in Germany, all through the United States, all through Canada, from coast to coast. And all they're interested in is promoting the idea of friendship, that bullying stinks, and that it's okay to be who you are, it's okay to be different, and that really together we can make things better.
Hey, so beautiful out here, huh? Thank you. No, I said it's really pretty. Thank you. You're so sweet. I'm glad I came. I almost let Ted come by himself, but sometimes I forget how nice it is to get out of the city for a while. Yeah. Well, see ya.
You're growing, you're changing, you're aging, and so what do you play? What roles can you play? When I started out in my 20s, I was the ingenue and the girlfriend and all that, and then as you get a little bit older, I found that parts actually get a lot more interesting. And after I had children, I have 2 boys, things really opened up for me, and I got a chance to play all sorts of different characters. On the show Supernatural, I had a chance to play the character of Nora, a friend of the 2 boys, the 2 young men leads on Supernatural. And my son had been abducted by a ghoul and being held, and it all sounds so supernatural and fantastical. But the great thing on the show for me was it was one of the first parts where I was actually playing a mother to a young man, and it kind of related back to where I was in my real life, and I loved it.
Namaste. Omnis immundus spiritus. Omnis
Put it back in now. Back in black.
Go to hell.
Omnis congregatio et secta diabolica. Ergo Draco maledicte. Ecclesiam tuum. Securativi facias. Libertate severi. Te regamus. Audi nos!
Later that year, I had a chance to work on a show called Innocent for TNT, and I got to see one of my heroes in the business, Marcia Gay Harden, in action, and she's phenomenal. And I played Elaine, an aging former beauty queen reporter who was intent on not letting the truth get by her. I got to do some fantastic meaty scenes and play kind of flirty and a little bit broken, which is really fun as an actor because it means you have no rules.
Now, you see, that is a good quote. I should have come to you after the verdict instead of spending the night with Brand. At the Matchbox, at the bar in a group. Oh, well, you missed a world-class drink-off. Jimmy Brand trounced us all.
He's got a well-lubricated elbow.
You know, my whole career I've played everything from a devil-possessed nun all the way through to a devil-fighting mother. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next.
Your name and how to spell it for the editors and the title that you want to come on the screen.
Sure, my name is Nicole Oliver, Nicoleoliver. Just like that. Nicole Oliver.
And the title, just actor?
Actor is fine. I do like actress because I spend a lot of money to try and look like a girl, but I'll take actor fine. It's the politically correct thing, sure.